I'm Michael Bain, and welcome to Triggered, coming to you as always from the secret hidden bunker in the Rocky Mountains, and brought to you this week by Rock Island Arms Corps. So, the reason my voice sounds a wee bit trashed is because I've spent the last week at Gunsite with the first filming for the new The Best Defense. I'm so excited about this show. I've been putting it together, working with our two new hosts, Jeremy Stafford and Rich Nance. Rich Nance wasn't there because he thoughtlessly caught COVID. Rich, we're watching you. But everything went super. We brought in Dave Spalding to do some training with Jeremy. I think you're going to be hugely impressed with the new show. There's a lot of insider baseball things we're doing. We changed the lighting. We changed a little bit of the style of the filming. Of course, DP, Director of Photography, Brandon Green, who's been with me since the beginning of The Best Defense. Jeff Murray, also producing with me for years and years and years, is producing and directing The Best Defense. It is going to be an absolutely brilliant show, and I can say that unequivocally after our first week of filming at Gunsite. We're homing the show at Gunsite. Specific reason for that. I believe absolutely that Gunsite represents the greatest repository on knowledge of self-defense and gunfighting anywhere in the world. Gunsite has 60 instructors and a history that stretches back to the very beginning of what we think of as combat practical pistol craft. So, it's going to be cool. Trust me. One of the things that I did while I was out there, I took this gun because this gun is absolutely cool. Once again, it's from our sponsors at Tisas, which is imported by SDS. Tisas is made in Turkey, and they said, boy, oh boy, you're going to love this gun. This is a Thesis D10. It's obviously 1911 in 10 millimeter. 10 millimeter is the new hotness. Everybody loves 10 millimeter. Everybody has a 10 millimeter. 10 millimeter is a cartridge that essentially almost went away and is now one of the most popular cartridges in America. It's an amazing thing. And when I saw this gun, I thought, wow, everything that is old is new again. This is very much like what I would think of as a custom 1911 from, oh gosh, say 1982. How about that? Or 1979. It's two-tone. Forged slide that is black, forged frame, stainless steel frame. Now look at some of the features on this gun. And again, if you're familiar with IPSC, the early days, you're going to go, wow, I would have killed for this guy. Great sights. They're LPA sights, very much like the Bomar sights we used back then, adjustable sights, what we would call target sights. Both the front strap and the rear housing here are checkered at 25 lines LPI, which is just exactly perfect. It's not blood donor checkering, but it will hold your hand. It's got a great set of grips, G10 grips, ambi safeties. I like the style of it. The trigger itself, really nice trigger. It's right about 5 pounds. Of course, I'd like to go a little lower on it, but 5 pounds is not bad at all. And when I got the gun, one of the first things I thought was, wow, this puppy is tight. I wonder if we're going to have one of those situations like, say, with a Les Baer gun. You know, Les makes some of the finest 1911s in the world, but Les's philosophy is that he sends you the gun and then says you got to shoot 2,000 rounds through it to shoot it in. And this gun was so tight, I thought, I wonder if I'm going to have to shoot it in. So I took it apart. I greased it up. It's a 1911. I don't take striker-fired pistols apart. I just take them to the range. But I oiled this guy up. I took it to the range. The first 8 shots at 10 yards went into a single hole, a large clustered hole. We're shooting Arms Corps, this stuff, which is great stuff. It is 180 grain full metal jacket. I've used it in my Arms Corps long slide, my Rock Island Armory long slide. I've used it in the Ruger 10 millimeter Red Hawk. It shot great, and when we come back, I'm going to tell you about how great it shot at Gunsite. Welcome back to Triggered, where we're talking about the Thesis D10 10mm, a gun that, to say I'm impressed with, doesn't do it justice. Comes with two 8-round magazines, by the way, locking box, all those kind of things. But while we were at Gunsite with Dave Spalding, Jeremy Stafford, Bob Radecki, National Sales Manager for Glock, we're standing on the York Range, which has a 100-yard pepper popper. And Dave Spalding says, "Hey, Bain, hand me that 10mm and a bunch of ammunition." So I handed Dave the 10mm and a bunch of ammunition. On his third shot, he rang the 100-yard gong, and then he didn't have any trouble ringing the pepper popper. Jeremy Stafford took it. No trouble ringing the 100-yard pepper popper. Bob Radecki took it. No problem ringing the 100-yard pepper popper. Number one, that's a testament to the gun. That's also a testament to the ammunition. I didn't shoot because, I'm sorry, it's a wonderful sight picture, but it's a sight picture I will probably never see again. So God made red dots. But everybody that I let handle this gun, everybody that I let shoot this gun, and heaven knows, if there's any group of people who understand 1911s, I'm going to say that Gunsite is pretty much right there on top of it. Everybody was impressed with fit and finish. Everybody was impressed with how it shot. One thing that struck me with how it shot is it didn't beat the crap out of me. And I have shot some 10mm that do, in fact, beat the crap out of you. You know, 10mm is a powerful round, slightly below 41 Magnum. And in the specialty heavyweight hunting rounds, slightly below 44 Magnum or at 44 Magnum velocities. But this gun is a sweetheart to shoot. And I thought, since I had it out at Gunsite, the proper way to carry it was this holster. This is a Gunsite Omega holster. And I cannot tell you how many thousands of hours I have in my old competition days of carrying a 1911 that pretty much looked just like this D10 in a holster that looked just like this Gunsite Omega. This holster is from Davis Leather Company and made by Dave Cox, who is a super nice guy. I was able to spend a bunch of time with Dave a few years back. The holster itself was designed by Gordon Davis. Gordy Davis, my really good friend, he made holsters for all of us in the early days of IPSC. Gordy's also one of the founders of Cowboy Shooting, a single action shooting society. And this was a mainstay holster for him, the Omega holster. These were, in the very beginning of practical shooting, the most common holster that you could see, and the holster that people aspired to. Well, Dave Cox worked with Gordon for years. In the last years of his life, I believe Gordon passed in 2012, 2013, one of the greatest holster makers ever. And so Dave took over the business and is continuing the kind of quality that you would expect from Davis Leather. This is a singularly great holster. So all in all, if you don't have a 10mm, take a look at this one, and let me give you the screaming bottom line of why you need to take a look at this 10mm. MSRP, $799.95. Real MSRP out there to start is going to be $750. Everyone that handled this pistol was shocked at $799 MSRP. This is a steal. If you've ever wanted a 10mm pistol, this is your chance. This week's Triggered is brought to you by Arms Corps, Rock Island Armory. What's your passion? Taurus USA, always ready, always bring it. Stoger, everyday tough. SDS Imports and the Tisas PX9. Tisas means quality. Hunter's HD Gold. They change so you don't have to. Welcome back to Triggered and our Your Best Defense segment. And today we're going to talk a little bit about the caliber wars. What caliber is best for self-defense? Interesting, because I just showed you an absolutely beautiful 10mm. Now, would I recommend 10mm for self-defense caliber? No. Not unless you're having a big issue with orcs, because orcs are hard to put down. You might want to look at 10mm. But when we talk about what is the best caliber, what is the best ammunition, is it a 9mm, is it a 380, is it a 45, is it a 40? A lot of that is driven by people like me or other gun writers who are basically selling stories. Now, I'm going to tell you a secret, and don't tell anybody, trust me, I'll lose my union card. When those very same people who talk about stuff like that get together, you would think you would see all these different kind of calibers and all these different kind of guns on their everyday carry. Well, you don't. You see what I think of as an amazing similarity. In fact, what you overwhelmingly see are Glock 19s in 9mm and SIG 365 XLs in 9mm. You see those pretty much by the ton. Sometimes you'll see people who have other big sponsors and they're carrying sponsor guns. But in a large gathering of trainers and gun writers, experts in the field of armed self-defense, you tend to see a lot of the same guns, and you tend to see almost exclusively 9mm. Why? Because it works. It's not a lightning bolt. It's not a bolt from the blue. It's not going to strike them dead. But it's a gun that is relatively easy to shoot. Not as easy to shoot as a 380 or not as easy to shoot as a 22, but will do the job. And it's available in a large amount of premium ammunition. You say, which ammunition is absolutely the best? Buy any premium self-defense ammunition you want. They will all be so close to each other in performance you would not be able to tell the difference. Now, what do you practice with? Cheap ammo. Practice with 9mm ball. Again, one of the great things about 9mm is there is still relatively inexpensive 9mm ball out there, especially the stuff that's still around from Russia or still around from East Bloc. In fact, you can get excellent inexpensive ball ammunition from Arms Corps, which is, of course, in the Philippines. Practice with ball, carry high-quality self-defense ammunition. My only caveat to that is if you have issues and you can only shoot, say, a 22 long rifle well, carry that. Once again, premium ammunition. Federal Punch is my choice on 22 ammunition. If you can only carry a 380, you know what? Carry the 380. Carry the gun that you shoot best, but don't get caught up in the caliber wars, because remember, we're only doing it to make money. I'm Michael Bain, and this is Triggered, brought to you this week by Arms Corps, Rock Island. You can find us on michaelbain.tv, where we'll have the links for everything we've talked about. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us on Rumble. And we will see you next week.